Have you ever been in a moment where you felt challenged? Take a moment and think. You're in a meeting, presenting your work, and a coworker publicly questions your data. Perhaps with a subtle smirk, the room falls silent. All eyes turn to you. You can feel that tension rise, that immediate, instinctual urge to defend yourself. Our minds can race with sharp retorts, can't they? We think of all the ways to prove our point, to fight back. But deep down, we may sense that engaging in that argument is a trap. It often makes us appear defensive, emotional, and in doing so, we feed the very conflict we wish to avoid. It's as if by fighting the battle on their terms, we've already lost our own peace. But what if there was another way? What if you could neutralize the conflict without speaking a single word, and in doing so, demonstrate a quiet confidence? What if you could show a level of inner strength so profound that the aggression simply fades away, revealing itself as weak? This isn't a fantasy. It's a discipline, a practice of inner fortitude explored 2,000 years ago by the Roman emperor and philosopher, Marcus Aurelius. He faced challenges we can hardly imagine: political conflict, betrayal, immense pressure to lead and to live with purpose. He developed a framework for unshakable calm. His wisdom was not about finding the perfect comeback. It was about mastering the one thing no one could ever take from him: his own mind. In this video, we will explore 5 of his most powerful lessons to resolve conflict without speaking. These are not just philosophical ideas. They are practical, non-verbal techniques. This is a journey to discover how to win, not by fighting, but by refusing to be drawn into the fight. Are you ready to begin? Let's go. The entire Stoic approach to conflict is built on a single, powerful foundation: understanding what is within our control and what is not. You see, we cannot control another person's attitude, their comments, or their need for attention. Those are external events. But we have complete mastery over how we choose to perceive and respond to them. This understanding frees us. An argument needs 2 willing participants to give it energy. These lessons will teach you how to calmly withdraw that energy. We're not just talking about being quiet. We are exploring strategic silence. It's about turning passivity into a quiet power and transforming your presence into a shield of inner peace. This is the art of winning the war by choosing not to engage in the battle. Section 1. Lesson 1. The power of the pause. Master your first reaction. The first and most critical lesson is what we can call the power of the pause. When a challenge is presented, our natural instinct is to react immediately, to defend, to correct, to tense up. This instant reaction signals to everyone that we have been provoked, that we have taken the bait. The Stoic response is the opposite. It is to do nothing. But this isn't a weak, frightened stillness. It's a deliberate, controlled, and deeply calming silence. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The pause is the physical expression of this realization. It is a quiet declaration to everyone in the room that you are in control of your own mind, even when someone is attempting to disturb your peace. So, let's return to that meeting. Your coworker has just said, "Are we sure these numbers are right? They seem a little optimistic." The air is thick with expectation. Everyone is looking at you. Here is how you can practice the power of the pause. First, do not immediately turn to face them. That is what is expected. Instead, hold your posture. Allow their comment to hang in the air for 2, 3, perhaps even 4 seconds. This silence can feel long, but something fascinating happens in that space. The focus of the room was on you for a moment, but because you did not react, it shifts back to the person who spoke. Their comment, now unsupported by your emotional response, begins to sound less like a sharp critique and more like what it is, an unprofessional interruption. While you are pausing, be mindful of your body. Maintain a calm, neutral expression. Unclench your jaw. Let your shoulders relax. Take a slow, quiet breath. Then, if you have a glass of water or a cup, you might slowly reach for it and take a calm sip. This small action is incredibly powerful. It signals that you are so unthreatened by the comment that you can prioritize a simple sip of water over a defense. It communicates, "Your attempt to rattle me is not important." Finally, after this deliberate pause, you can slowly turn your head, but instead of making eye contact with the person who interrupted, you can turn your gaze back to the person leading the meeting or to the group as a whole. By doing this, you non-verbally communicate that the comment was an irrelevant distraction, and you are ready to return to the important work. You have ended the argument before it could begin by demonstrating unshakable composure. You did not just ignore the bait, you made the person who offered it seem small. Section 2. Lesson 2. The gaze of understanding. Reframe the other person. Now that you have found the calm in the pause, the second lesson is to change the way you see the person challenging you. In the heat of the moment, we see a critic, an opponent. The Stoics teach us to see a flawed, struggling human being. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that we are all part of a larger whole, designed to work together. He wrote, "We were born to work together like feet, hands, and eyes, like the two rows of teeth, upper and lower. To obstruct each other is unnatural." He believed that when people act with insolence or ill will, it is born from their own ignorance. They do not understand what is truly good. This is not about excusing their behavior. It's about understanding its source. Their aggression is not a reflection of your worth. It is a projection of their own insecurity, fear, or ignorance. When you truly internalize this, it becomes very difficult for their words to injure your inner peace. Let's go back to our meeting. Your coworker has made their jab. You have executed the power of the pause perfectly. Now, instead of feeling anger, you are going to practice what we can call the gaze of understanding. Here is the technique. While you maintain your composure, you can briefly make eye contact with them. But this is not a glare or a challenge. It is a calm, steady, almost compassionate look. Think of the way a wise parent might look at a child having a tantrum. There is no anger, just a quiet understanding that the child is overwhelmed and acting out. This gaze is disarming because it is the opposite of what an aggressor expects. They are ready for a fight. They anticipate fear or anger. They are utterly unprepared for a look that seems to say, "I see that you are struggling." It reframes them not as a powerful adversary, but as someone acting from a place of weakness. This mental shift is your true source of strength. When the comment comes, instead of thinking, "He's trying to humiliate me," your inner monologue, guided by Stoic wisdom, becomes, "He must feel threatened to act this way. He is acting from a place of ignorance, not strength." This reframing protects your inner peace. As Marcus wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." While the other person is caught up in ego, you are operating on a higher plane of emotional resilience. Your silent, understanding gaze communicates this without a single word. You haven't just dodged the argument. You have established yourself as the more centered and mature person in the room. And that, my friend, is powerful. If you are already feeling more in control just by internalizing these first 2 lessons, imagine what mastering all 5 can do for your career and your peace of mind. True strength is not about being the loudest voice in the room. It is about being the calmest. If you're ready to continue building this kind of inner fortress, take a moment to subscribe and join our community as we explore how ancient wisdom can solve modern problems. Section 3. Lesson 3. The pivot to principle. Anchor yourself to your purpose. The 3rd lesson is about anchoring yourself to something more significant than the argument. Arguments pull us into a battle of egos. The need to be right, to defend our honor, becomes all-consuming. A Stoic avoids this trap by immediately shifting their focus from the person to the principle. Marcus Aurelius taught that our guiding light should always be virtue and our duty. He wrote, "Just that you do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter." In a professional setting, your right thing is your purpose. Is it to deliver an excellent project? To find the truth in the data? To serve the company's mission? When your coworker challenges you, they're trying to make the conflict personal. Your task is to non-verbally refuse this invitation and keep the focus on the professional purpose. Let's imagine the situation continues. The person, frustrated by your calm, escalates their challenge. "Frankly," they say, "I think this entire approach is a waste of time." Now they are directly challenging your entire strategy, making it a personal battle. Here is how you can apply the pivot to principle. You've already used the pause and held a gaze of understanding. Now, you physically and mentally turn away from the personal conflict and back toward the shared goal. The nonverbal technique is simple, yet profound. After they speak, you hold that deliberate pause once more. Then, instead of addressing them, you turn your body and your attention to the projector screen, the whiteboard, or your notes. You might pick up a pen and point to a key objective on a slide. By doing this, you are non-verbally stating, "This is not about you versus me. It is about this." As you indicate the project goal, it's about the principle we are all here to serve. You are physically re-anchoring the conversation to the work itself, pulling it out of the swamp of personal ego. Your internal monologue shifts from, "How dare he say that?" to, "How does this comment relate to our shared objective?" You will often find that personal attacks have no relevance to the project's success. Your silent action makes this clear to everyone. You elevate the conversation. While the other person is stuck in the mud of competition, you are standing on the high ground of professional purpose. Marcus Aurelius would see this as a choice between passion and reason. The attacker is ruled by the passion of ego. You are guided by the reason of your duty. This silent pivot is effective because it makes the aggressor's comments seem petty and self-serving, while you appear focused, principled, and dedicated to the team's success. You end the argument by making it irrelevant. Section 4. Lesson 4. The perspective from above. Mentally zoom out. The 4th lesson is a powerful mental technique that Marcus Aurelius used to dissolve his own frustration, adopting a broader perspective. He would often practice a visualization, imagining himself looking down on the earth from above, seeing all the concerns of humankind as small and temporary. He wrote about the brevity of life, reminding himself that soon, both he and the person who annoyed him would be gone and forgotten. This practice is not meant to be morbid. It is a tool for perspective. It shrinks the overwhelming importance of the present moment down to its proper size. Most workplace disagreements feel monumental in the moment. Our reputation feels like it is at stake. The Stoic learns to immediately question this feeling of importance. Let's return to our meeting. The challenges have failed to provoke you. You have remained calm and principled, but internally, you might still feel the stress. Your heart may still be beating fast. This is where you apply the perspective from above. Here is the mental technique. As you sit there, holding your composed posture, you can ask yourself 3 silent questions. 1. Will this matter in 10 years? 2. Will this matter in 1 year? 3. Will this even matter next week? The answer is almost always a resounding no. This squabble over a spreadsheet, this clash of egos in a conference room, it is insignificant in the grand scheme of your life. Recognizing this does not mean the work doesn't matter. It means the emotional drama surrounding it is not worth your inner peace. As you ask yourself these questions, you can practice a simple nonverbal action. Lean back slightly in your chair. Just a small motion. This tiny physical retreat helps create a psychological distance. You are subtly disengaging from the immediacy of the conflict, creating space to zoom out. Marcus believed that we are distressed not by things, but by our judgments about them. The event is neutral. A coworker made a comment. Our judgment might be, "This is a disaster." The perspective from above allows you to let go of that catastrophic judgment. You replace it with a more accurate one. This is a temporary and minor annoyance that will soon be forgotten. This mental shift is an incredible source of freedom. When you can genuinely feel the triviality of the argument, the anger dissolves naturally. You are no longer fighting because you realize there is nothing worth fighting for. You have ended the argument in your own mind, which is the only place it ever truly existed. Section 5. Lesson 5. The premeditation of difficulties. Expect and accept human nature. The final lesson is a proactive one. It's about preparing your mind before you even enter the room. In the calm of the morning, Marcus Aurelius would begin each day with a powerful Stoic exercise. He would tell himself, "Today I shall be meeting with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness." But he didn't stop there. He reminded himself that people act this way out of their ignorance of what is good or evil. This practice is sometimes called premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of difficulties. It is not about being negative, it is about being realistic and psychologically preparing yourself against shock and disappointment. Difficult behavior is not a surprising exception. It is a predictable part of human existence. When you expect people to be difficult, you are not surprised when they are. Your emotional reaction is lessened because you were prepared. Here's how to apply this in your daily life. Before you walk into a meeting where you know a confrontational person will be, take 30 seconds. Find a quiet moment and tell yourself, in this meeting, that person may be difficult. They may try to undermine me. They may interrupt. This is not a personal failure on my part. This is them acting according to their nature, out of their own ignorance. I cannot control them, but I can control my response. I will be prepared to be calm, to pause, and to focus on my principles. This simple act of premeditation is like putting on psychological armor. When the inevitable happens, when the snide comment is made, your mind doesn't go into a state of shock. It goes into a state of recognition. You can think to yourself, there it is, just as I expected. This removes the element of surprise, which is the primary fuel for an emotional reaction. Why would you be angry at a dog for barking? That is what dogs do. Why be angry at an insecure person for acting out? That is what they do. By expecting and accepting this, you are free to respond strategically rather than emotionally. You can calmly use the first 4 lessons, the pause, the understanding gaze, the pivot to principle, and the wider perspective, because your mind isn't hijacked by outrage. You have already rehearsed this moment. This is the ultimate nonverbal technique, because the work is done before the argument even starts. You win the argument without speaking, because you already decided you would not be drawn into one in the first place. Conclusion. Let's recap the 5 lessons we've explored on this journey. The power of the pause. Using silence to shift the focus and demonstrate unshakable control. The gaze of understanding. Reframing the other person as someone acting from weakness, which neutralizes your own anger. The pivot to principle. Anchoring the conversation back to the shared goal, making personal attacks irrelevant. The perspective from above. Zooming out mentally to realize the triviality of the argument, dissolving your emotional investment. The premeditation of difficulties. Expecting difficult behavior so you can respond with strategy, not emotion. Have you noticed that not one of these requires a clever retort? They are all internal shifts and subtle, nonverbal actions. True power is not about winning arguments. It's about showing that you are above them. It is the quiet authority that comes from mastering your own mind. By controlling your response, you control the room. Your confrontational coworker wants to pull you into a wrestling match of egos. When you refuse to engage, when you stand calmly on solid ground, they are left wrestling only with themselves. They don't just lose the argument, they reveal their own immaturity to everyone watching. Meanwhile, you gain the quiet respect of your colleagues, who will see in you not a passive victim, but a composed, resilient, and powerful leader. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Be the calm, respected presence in the room. Be the one who cannot be shaken. Be the one who wins without ever having to fight. If you enjoyed taking this step with us, don't forget to subscribe to continue your evolution. I'm grateful for you reaching this far. Until the next video.